Welcome and greetings to a brand new episode of Clear Blue Radiance. And I am the podcast host here. My name is Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I've been a spiritual counselor for over 40 plus years, and I enjoy helping people like yourself have greater clarity and discover your purpose in life. You know, we have many opportunities that sometimes escape us, and we often may not realize just how special our lives can be, and just how much we could be in service to the greater collective humanity, but also in a local way. And what I mean by that is how you see yourself in your own life. And so I thought about it last night and today, and I wanted to bring a short topic up. Many times I try to bring out information to you that I myself have experienced as well. And so today's topic is You Shall Shine Brighter Than Any Celebrity. But the subtitle says, You are a radiant and beautiful being. You are a star living in the world with overflowing grace and unconditional love. These are parts of yourself. These are your truths. And if you don't believe it, you have to gain confidence in yourself. You have to raise your self esteem. So, this particular topic is very important. And I want to bring out a life example of it. This life example is when I came up with this particular topic for today, this new episode, I kind of thought of what could I do that could help impact you. And so I realized in order to do that, I had to do something special. And so, in using this topic right here at Resident Essentials YouTube channel, again, I want to repeat it to you. Today's date, of course, is October the 6th, 2022. And again, I'm a spiritual counselor. I've been doing it for over 40 plus years. And again, I enjoy helping people just like yourself gain greater clarity in your life and to understand what your purpose is, to discover what that is. Sometimes our purpose does change because we change. And and as we change, we want to get clear about that purpose. And we could say basically that everybody's purpose is to bring love, unconditional love into the world, to bring wisdom and understanding and do it in a passionate way. But we have to be more compassionate with ourselves. And so, this particular topic, you shall shine brighter than any celebrity. Now, I want to bring out something to you that I experienced as a teenager. I was always quite shy. You don't believe it, right? Because I'm really talkative now. But I was a real shy teenager. I was always very quiet, off to myself. I didn't get out and play with other children on the block unless I really was comfortable. And I was the same in high school. I really didn't hang with the crowds. I wasn't an athlete. I didn't consider myself a very smart student. I struggled with math. I struggled with a foreign language. I remember studying French from middle school, as they would consider it, but grade school, sixth grade, seventh, eighth grade, I did well. But then got into high school and I was always hovering at a D. Most of the time I was a D minus student. And I couldn't understand why my guidance counselor would throw me into a special class. Now, this special class didn't mean I didn't have what it takes. It means I was supposed to be exceptional because I would always score high on these psychological tests and these educational tests. I would always score high. I think some of it is because I didn't feel like I fit in, because everybody in those French classes from my freshman year through my senior year, they were whiz kids. They were considered at the top of the chain in the state of New York. They were always ranking in the first maybe two, 300 students throughout the entire state. And I was nowhere on the radar. I wasn't even under the radar. So I didn't consider myself a bright student. Well, my brother, he was always, he was a hipster in his own way. That's because he could tell jokes right off the top of his head. I couldn't do things like that. So I was always on the side doodling, drawing. And so art was my forte in high school. A lot of people knew I could draw. A lot of people knew in grade school I could draw too. In fact, that's how I saved myself from the bullies in grade school. I said, hey, I'll draw your homework assignment, but you got to keep these other kids off my back. And they would comply, and I was able to do that. So, this particular story I'm going to share with you, and it's just a short one, it actually points to how we often need a mentor in our lives. We would like to always have our parents as our mentors, right? Your parents should be the first line of mentors in your life, but it depends on, the life as a being that you chose to be a part of, that specific soul contract that you set up with your parents and your siblings, if you had siblings. Maybe you chose to come in as an adopted child. So we have all these little nuances, right? That somehow help shape the way we think, the way we feel about ourselves. Sometimes giving us too many lessons, it appears. And sometimes we're repeating those lessons over and over and over. So, in this story, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible, I was reflecting on a part of my life as a teenager, around 16, 17 years of age. During that time, my mom and dad had their own business. By the time I hit the planet, they had their own business. My mother was able to move out of being a domestic home worker. My father could stop doing construction work. He was taking courses to become a radio and TV repairman, and he became the first one to be licensed in the Nassau County and actually throughout Suffolk County, Nassau and Suffolk County. And my mother put him in business. We had a Revels radio and TV business, and that was revolving around fixing radios and TVs mainly in people's homes. And it turned out that my father stepped on through, graduated, and he became a really licensed radio and TV repair person in the entire state, but specifically on Long Island. During that time, my brother was into music. He was a drummer. He was learning how to play drums, and he was doing well at that. Me, even though I did a little artwork and stuff, and I was still shy, my mother thought, "Hey, got to get me out of this shy bag because that's where I shouldn't go." Even though I had this spiritual, metaphysical beginning with her from age 8, she realized she had some friends. The friends lived in another little town in Nassau County called Lakeview. And they called my mother up and they said, hey, your older son, Napoleon, named after my dad, he's teaching our son how to play the drums. And we want to know, does your youngest son, Francis, play anything? And my mom said, yeah, he's learning how to play guitar. He's being self-taught. And that's what I was doing. They gave me little box guitars, I call it, and I would listen to any R&B radio station like WWRL, which is the biggest station at that time in New York City, and I would listen intently, and I would try to pick along with the music. Interesting, I had what they call flat tone hearing, which I couldn't tell you if the note was A, B, C, D, E, or G. I couldn't tell you that. I couldn't tell you if it was an F note, an E note in there. But I could tell you if it was minor, major, augmented, all that stuff. That I could figure out. For some reason, I knew that. So my father had a lot of radio and TV clients throughout Nassau and Suffolk County. He found this one guy. This guy played jazz, and he played for record albums. He was like a background player, but he'd always show up on a Wednesday night when I needed to be in bed during the school week. He would show up about 9, 10 o'clock, and that's only because the man worked in New York City, and he had his own teachers, and he would, comply. He would come out to Hempstead, New York, where we lived, and he would do his best to teach me. Well, most of the time, he was showboating, but hey, I was learning something. He was doing his best to show me how to play this box guitar, meaning acoustic guitar. So eventually, my mom and dad asked me, "Well, how do you like your lessons?" And I said, "Well, he's sort of okay, but he smokes so much." And being that I have asthma, I was getting that secondhand smoke. And he complied. He didn't smoke in the house. But, I guess he did his best. And I was the last student on a Wednesday night. So yeah, he's showing up at 9:30 to teach me how to play for 30 minutes. But he did give me some basics of reading music, which I didn't really understand. But he did his best. Was I wouldn't put the blame on him. But then my father realized he had this Caribbean fellow from Jamaica, I believe. And this fellow was, at that time, he was a little older than my mom and dad. So I was about 15 or 16 when I met this guy. I was younger when I met the other man. What was unique about this elder Caribbean fellow, since I was 16, and my parents at that time, if I was 16, we would put this around 1968. Okay, that would make my parents in their 50s roughly. And this elder gentleman, he was already in his 70s. And his name was Dr. Henry Keene, Keane. And actually, he was a very unique person because Dr. Keene was a master, and I could say this truthfully, he was a master of 26 musical instruments. Dr. King played the kind of instruments that you would hear in a symphony orchestra. He and his wife lived in a split family ranch house in Hempstead. I can almost see the house now. And we would enter sometimes through his garage to get right into his little mini music studio. This man played timpani drums. He played violin. He played a cello, a viola, the big stand-up acoustic double bass. He could play a trumpet, a trombone. He could play clarinet, bass clarinet. He could play all the saxophone ranges from the alto, soprano sax, tenor sax, right down to the bass sax. The man could play. He could do some little snare work as well on the drums. This man played a lot, but his biggest instrument was a piano. And he had an upright piano in his basement of his house. And once my dad told me about him and my mother went to meet him, she felt he was the ideal person that could help me. And I never forget my dad is doing radio and TV work on a Saturday. My mom brought me over to him, introduced me to his wife and him. Very beautiful family. He even had let me have lunch. And his favorite drink was Ovaltine, which was mine too. And we sat down and he said, "Francis, what's the first thing that comes to your mind that you want to learn how to do with that guitar?" And at the time, I had a little cheap electric guitar. So I said, "Well, I want to learn how to compose music." And he says, "Really? Do you know anything about composing music?" And I was honest and I said, "Not a thing." I'm teaching myself how to play. I got one of them Mel Bay guitar books. Melbay was the guy that wrote all the music books on guitars and saxophones and pianos. And I had one of those books. And I showed him a little bit. But he asked me, could I identify the notes? And I was doing it by memory, not by learning how to identify a quarter note from a whole note, from a half note, from an eighth note, from a 16th note. And I didn't know how to count music. But I would tell him I would listen to the R&B station WRL, and I'd listen. I would watch the TV shows, American Bandstand, and the one on the weekday that was out of Philadelphia with this guy Jerry Blavitz. And of course, the other guy was on Saturdays. I forget his name. Dick something other was his name, and I would watch those R&B groups, and I would try to thump out the notes. Well, Dr. King said, well, since you're striving, I don't know how much you really want to learn because I only take students who want to learn. And so I looked at my mother. My mother looked at me and said, well, he's taking piano lessons with Bud Powell, who was a jazz guy, another jazz guy in Hempstead. And he seemed to excel in that. He said, okay, okay. I said, he can play drums. He watches his brother play and he can imitate him on the drums. I said, but I don't want you to imitate. I want you to really learn. Well, it turned out on Saturdays that Dr. King had a lot of free time on his hands. And so I would show up at 1 o'clock, and I didn't leave until 4 p.m. That man grilled me every Saturday for 3 years, for over a year and a half. In fact, I would say 2 years, because I came to him at age 16 and I turned 18 in 1970. I was still in high school, getting ready to graduate from high school, and he made sure that I learned. But he did it in such a passionate way, a such I was so grateful because this man was like almost my second father to me. He was mentoring me, not just about learning how to write music, not about learning how to play all kinds of music, because he would write something that would be part of a libretto and he wrote these different pieces of music for the New York City Metropolitan Opera House. And I was afraid. I just wanted to do R&B, not Dr. King. He was on that piano. I had that guitar, and this is what that man would do. He would take something that he was working on or that he completed for the Metropolitan Opera House Symphony Orchestra, and he would put it in front of me. He would say, "Play that," and I'd look at it, and I would do my best. I could recognize the treble clef, and I could play it. He said, "Well, what's that bottom thing down there?" I said, "I guess that's the bass clef." He said, "Oh, you know something about the bass." He says, "Play it on your guitar." And I would struggle, but could play it. Well, as time went on, for over a year, I had no idea that this man was really teaching me music and how to be passionate about music. He said, if you love art, you should be just as passionate about music. They go hand in hand, they're family. I said, really? I couldn't count notes. I had no sense of what notes were. But Dr. King was smart. Dr. King would say, here's $1, Francis. How many quarters make up $1? And I would say, 4. Good. And then he would go into other things. So after a while, it was making sense. He would show me on the staff a quarter note. He would show me on the staff a whole note. It looks just like a circle, kind of oval shape. He would show me a half step. He would show me a quarter step or a quarter note. He was very innovative and he was very passionate about teaching. He would get emotional, but never upset with me. When my mind would be blank, I couldn't get the mood of the music right. He wasn't like the other fella who would show up on a Wednesday night late and sometimes be upset with me. Dr. King was a very patient and meticulous person. And this is what I learned in life. You got to be patient with yourself. You need to be meticulous with yourself. You need to respect yourself. And you need to love yourself. When you start doing those things, taking pride in your work, pride in yourself, your life will change. Because life is changing all the time. He would say to me, I don't care, Francis. This is how we talk. I don't care, Francis, if you're playing with another group and you're a part of that group, you must shine. In other words, you must be heard. You must bring your personality out. You must bring the personality through your instrument so people can see that you and your instrument are one and the same and not separate. When people look at you, you don't want to look at you as some guy playing a guitar. They want to look at you because you brought that guitar to life, that instrument to life. He said, this is a part of life. You must shine. And this is where I remember this title. Because I said today's title is what? You shall shine brighter than a celebrity. Dr. King taught me that I don't have to worry about the celebrity I see on stage. I don't have to worry about the football player. That football player is a celebrity on the field. Baseball player, basketball player, musician, artist, actress, actor. He said, you must find out who you are inside of yourself. When you find out who you are inside of yourself, your life will change because you will see the internal changes that you are making. This man could play classical music on 26 classical instruments. But guess what? He could play bebop. He could play jazz. He could play what they call, for the past 20 years, smooth jazz. He could play every instrument like it was himself. And I say he was like my second father. He was actually a mentor to me. When I was in my freshman year, sophomore year in college and found out that he passed away, I cried like a baby. And my friend says, what are you crying about? I said, Dr. Henry King is gone. That man was like my second father. I would send him letters from college and let him know how I was doing in my major as an art major. And he would always write me back and says, keep going, Francis. Keep going. Be passionate about what you are, who you are, what you love to do, and put yourself into it. That's what this talk is about. It says, you shall shine brighter than any celebrity. You are a radiant and beautiful being, but you have to come to know that you are a radiant and beautiful being. You are a star in your own right. You are a star living in the world with overflowing grace and unconditional love. So you got to love yourself first. Nobody's going to love you until you love yourself. You're already born with an infinite overflow of grace in your life. You have to understand that part. No matter what you do, doesn't matter if you become a numerologist, an astrologist, a palmist, person who reads palms, a graphology expert, a crystal expert. Somehow, you have to shine through that. People have to see your passion. They have to feel your compassionate nature. People have to see the beauty in you, and you have to be able to see the beauty in them. This is highly important. So how could you do that? How could you bring such beauty and harmony and show it to the world? And you might say, well, I don't see it in myself. If you're liking this information, click like, click share. And if you haven't subscribed to Resonant Essentials YouTube channel, do so now. What you want to realize is you're not in a state of losing anything in your life. There's nothing for you to lose. There's more for you to gain. I'll say that again. There's nothing for you to lose, but there's more that you can gain. You gain more through self respect, self love, understanding your likes and dislikes, finding new ways to grow, and grow with compassion, grow with harmony and beauty that you can see deep inside of yourself. We all desire to be better, right? We all desire to have a better life, a better lifestyle. We all desire to have some kind of change happen so we can feel elevated in our life. But it's not the change that elevates you. It's the self esteem that elevates you. It's the self respect that elevates you. It's self love that elevates you. That's what's so cool about who you are. See, you don't have to be concerned about shining like a celebrity because you have to recognize that within you, you are this star, you are this being that's beautiful. You're a radiant person. You have to find ways to show your radiance, show the brightness that's already inside of you. One of the ways to do it is, as my late mother used to say, don't keep hiding behind the rock, waiting for someone else to show you the way. We all need mentors. We all need a teacher. We all need a guidance person. Someone can help guide us along. But if you don't trust yourself, if you don't have any faith in yourself, then you don't think you're capable of what? Thriving. In fact, you don't feel that you're capable enough of just surviving where you're at. So you have to go within. And as you go within that heart center inside of you, you start to listen. Listen intently, listen quietly. You start to learn how to breathe into that beautiful heart that you have, that radiant heart that you have. And you learn how to bring it forward. Reminds me, I have something that I'm working on called Radiant Heart. Got to work on it today. But I say these words to you, and I share this with you because everybody that you see that comes through Resident Essentials, be it a teacher, a practitioner, psychic medium, healer, you name it, we all of us, have gone through these hurdles in life. All of us. Life is full of challenges. Life is full of valleys, glens, dales. It's full of sharp things too. Broken pieces of glass of someone's life, a broken and disjointed path, a ditch, a hole in the road. But there are moments, many moments, when there are mountains and peaks you can overlook. things in your own life. You could see your roadmap. Your life is overflowing with dreams. Your life is overflowing with these dreams. The shamans say, medicine people say all over the world, that when you fall asleep at night, you're in the real world. The dream world is your real world. Real. Why? Because in the dream world, you're putting together component pieces that represent when you wake up. But you get a chance to wake up within the dream, which is known as lucid, Lucid, lucid dreaming, and you begin to make changes with yourself, changes with how you interact with other people, changes all over the place so that you can grow. You have to see yourself simply as a seed. See yourself simply as a seed. And as you see yourself being placed into the earth of your own consciousness, and you begin to water it with unconditional love, in that seed is an expression, infinite expressions of unconditional love, infinite expressions of intelligence, divine intelligence that gets you through the world, infinite seeds, sources of grace. Grace, in this sense, is the ability to live life effortlessly and easy, the ability to save yourself is grace. The ability to place yourself onto a path that you know deep inside yourself is going to blossom and is going to shower you with the essence of everything that you're seeking. Once you realize it's on the inside of you. Yes, you're going to shine brighter than a celebrity when you realize in life that you are your own personal celebrity. You are your own star that can shine bright in your own life. But people say, well, how am I going to do that? I have too much fear inside. I have too much doubt inside. I've got all these mismatched steps that I've made. I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. Every time I try something, it seems to fall apart. Every time I get together with other people, I don't seem to get along. We're knocking heads. Our egos are clashing. You might want to consider, before you jump into a partnership with somebody, to find out something about them first. Doesn't matter if the partner's got wealth. It doesn't matter if they can create wealth. Who are they really on the inside? Are they a nice person? Are they a loving and kind person? That's important to know. Because if you've been beat up by every kind of situation in your life, having someone help you that's like that is not going to help you. That's just going to kill your spirit, as we say. That's going to kill your drive. That's going to cause you to develop some addictions. And sometimes one of your addictions might be choosing the wrong people to mentor you, to guide you. We have everything already. The purpose of the mentor, the coach, is just to bring it out of you. That's why I tell everybody my job is find your light switches and turn them on. Your light switch called self confidence. Your light switch called self esteem. Your light switch called self love. That's the switches I'm looking for. No matter what I'm teaching you, I'm looking for them. And we will look for them together. I'm here to help you go from the frown to the smile. Be happy with you. So today, I desire to help you build your confidence and your self esteem. I desire that you strive to become better than you were yesterday. I desire that you shower yourself with self respect and unconditional love because life is about change, growth, and it needs your sense of creativity. That's important. You need yourself sense of creativity so you can create a new life for yourself. You need better understanding of yourself. You need to have faith, and then you got to trust yourself. But you got to trust the universe, which you are a part of, that will lead you in the right direction. I think um, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith always says the universe is conspiring to assist you, not conspiring to work against you. The late Neville Goddard and the late Reverend Ike, who learned some of his teachings from him, the late Bob Proctor, they all say the same thing. You got to take a look at yourself. The late Michael Jackson said it, the man in the mirror. He said, take a look at yourself and then make that change. Make the necessary changes. And guess what? Start loving yourself while you're making the change. Because you're going to take the talents that you have, natural talents. You're going to see them as gifts, right? Presence in your own life. But you're going to turn them into skills. And that takes effort, daily effort. And sometimes it takes a whole lot of rest and sleep. And sometimes better food. And sometimes exercise. And sometimes get rid of some stuff you don't need or put some stuff on the sideline. You want to start making changes. The world is changing. We see all these isms out here going on. You see, that prime creative divine source that we come from that's so infinite, it don't have the vocabulary for religion. It doesn't. It only has vocabulary connected to truth, joy, overall serendipity, tranquility, happiness, productivity, increase. Even when there appears to be no increase, there's increase in no increase. We might think everything's impossible. Well, here's the key words inside of that. Everything is impossible, but guess what? Separate I'm from possible. Separate the letter I am together with an apostrophe in it and possible. Then it becomes no longer impossible. It means possible, something is possible means you have the ability to possess it. That's what possibility is. Something that's possible means you have the ability to possess it. A possibility, ITY, means the condition that surrounds what makes it able for you to possess it. We have to understand words sometimes. We have to find symbolism in words and find the energy in words that we speak. So, what I want you to consider, here's a homework assignment. I want you to consider writing down 3 truths about yourself. I want you to write about what makes you happy. I want you to write about what causes you to be passionate in your own life. And what's your passion for being you? Who are you? What are you grateful for? And recognize these as your truths, which give you what? Power to achieve. I want you to start affirming them as well as decreeing them into your life now when you write them down. And you say, well, how do I write them down and when? Well, you can do it every day. You can take the same three truths and write about them every day. You remember when you were in school, and sometimes if you got quote unquote punished in school, and the teacher would say, write it down 100 times. I will not this, I will not that. But instead of putting the no in the process, I want you to put the positive in the process. I want you to write three things. And then on each of those three things, I want you to write over and over and over the truth about yourself. And when you write these things about yourself, get happy about yourself. Find ways to love yourself while you're writing. So, what's an affirmation? An affirmation is the truth that you already know about yourself. What is a decree? Decree means there are no reservations. You're not holding back. When you state the truth, you know for a definite fact that that is the truth. When you decree a thing, it comes into being. When you decree something, it comes into being. It becomes a fact in life. You manifest and materialize it. Manifest in your mind, materialize it in your life. So here's an example. And I'm supposed to make this a short program, but here's an example. Let's say one of your three truths are, I am creative. You're going to say as an affirmation, and you're going to use these two words, I affirm, right? Because when you use the word affirm means you're making this thing concrete. It's the concrete truth of you. It's firm inside of you. So you're going to say, I am creative. So you're putting that emotion behind it, positive emotion. But when you say, I affirm I am creative, it takes on a whole new being. It takes on a whole new being because it's a whole new you that was once old that you are now revitalizing, reactivating that truth inside of yourself. So when you say, I affirm, automatically, all that in the universe is listening to you. Make this statement, true statement about yourself. You might say, I cook well, and then you're going to change it to, I'm a great cook. This man or woman, I'm a great cook. And then you're going to say, I affirm now that I'm a great cook. My meals are slamming. Everybody likes my meals, and I affirm that they do. Why? Because now you're getting excited. You can say this to the reflection of yourself in a mirror. You can switch it and then say, I decree. In fact, you can say, I see, meaning with my own eyes, and I understand in my heart. I see and decree that this is true. I'm an excellent chef, not just a cook. I'm a chef. I'm an excellent musician. I'm an excellent composer. I see and decree that everything in my life is like music to me. And you bring that energy up inside of you. Not only is everything outside of yourself listening to you, but so is or are the cells within your body. Yourself, if you're not feeling well, you don't want to say, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, because why? You're telling the universe, show me more experiences so I can be sick. Even though you may not have the energy to overcome it at that moment, but you're thinking in the now, that the future is now. You're thinking that somewhere in your past, you became successful and overcame a disease, a dis-ease in your life. Dis-ease. So you're convincing yourself, you're trusting in yourself, in your words, You're trusting in the faith that you have in yourself, that you are creative, that you are successful, that you're a powerhouse, that you're healthier now than you were before. You know that the cells in your body heal from the inside to the outside, and you're right in there with them, making it happen. So you're going to write down three things. Now it might take you a little while to get clear with the three things, but the three things are the three truths of who you are. And then you're going to say it with emotion. You might read it quietly to yourself, but you're going to say it with emotion in the tone of your voice. And I want that emotion to be a happy tone in your voice. And then I want you to affirm it. And then that affirmation that you're repeating about those truths, then I want you to decree it into the world. And if you get so excited about it, one day you'll just channel it on through from inside to the outside. The light switch will come on, and next thing you know, you're saying, I affirm that I'm healthy. In every moment of my life, my mind is healthy. I have a healthy emotional body. I have a healthy mental body. I have a healthy spiritual body. I have a healthy physical body. In fact, everything I do around my life here exudes healthiness. And then you might say, well, I see and decree that I'm healthy right now. I see and decree that every cell in my being can hear my spoken word of joy, peace, harmony, and happiness. And I decree that I'm happy. I decree that I'm healthier in this moment than I was 100 hours ago. I'm excited about the new paradigm of health for myself. I see and decree it happening in the now, right now. That's all I'm concerned about is what I'm doing right now to be happy, to be joyful, to be tranquil, to be at peace with myself, to be creative about the things that I'm doing, get excited. I'm so excited. I'm grateful for everything I've ever acquired in my life. I'm grateful for things that I wasn't supposed to have. I'm grateful for things that I don't have. What are you grateful about what you don't have? So much worry and anxiety that I'm just stressed. So you're no longer stressed because you're getting excited about being who you want to be. So if you think today's topic, you shall shine brighter than any celebrity, with the subtitle, you are a radiant and beautiful being. You are a star living in the world with overflowing grace and unconditional love. Leave a comment in the chat section if you didn't get a chance to do it. Leave your comment, leave your question. Or you can email me at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. If you're a member of Resident Essentials, the group page on Facebook, you can say, hey, Brother Francis, I heard you talk about this today. I have a question. We can have a discussion. If you're shy in that, then just email me. Well, I'm going to go now. I want to thank you for tuning in live. Hey, if you see it, replay it. See it and replay it and share it out with some friends and family members. Because remember, you're a star in your own life. You don't have to shine like a celebrity. You don't have to hold yourself up to try to compete with what the celebrity is doing. Because you're going to recognize the salubriousness of yourself. That word means the divine part of yourself. Well, I'll be back next week. I'll try to be back at my regular time, which is 1 p.m. Mountain Time. But before I sign off, if you're here in the city of Albuquerque, our zip code for Resident Essentials is 87111. The address to Resident Essentials, Resonant Essentials, is 3107 Eubank That's EUBANK Boulevard Northeast, just north of the intersection of Eubank, which runs north and south, and Candelaria Boulevard Northeast, that runs east and west, inside of the Scottsdale Shopping Village. Look for Look for door number, a black door with a beveled glass, a beautiful beveled glass on this black door. And the door number is 34. That's Resident Essentials entrance. It's open Tuesday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to about 4 p.m. But there are other people, other practitioners that work through there. You can get Reiki by Amber. She's there on Tuesdays. You can get a whole lot of things going on by different practitioners. And you could be fortunate enough going in there Monday through Saturday. You can meet with Michelle Vidal, the owner of Resident Essentials, the creator of Resident Essentials, the founder of Resident Essentials. We're going to be there this Sunday with our monthly psychic fair, free admission from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. We do it every second Sunday of the month. This Sunday coming up is October the 9th. You want to get in there, stop by and meet all of us that are practitioners there and teachers there. I teach every Saturday my Creative Pathwork Meditation series, every Saturday at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. for a minimal fee. Get in touch with me, email me, and I'll lead you to it. I'll be there this Saturday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time for teaching my Creative Pathwork Meditation series designed to get you into that heart-centered space and connect with your higher self. That's what it's all about. I'll be at the Psychic Fair with my celestial I am drawings I do with colorful pencils. There's lots of other people that will be there. I think we'll have Susan Zumo there with her Soma Pi healing. We'll have uh, Nicole Bruton Phillips. She'll be in there with her intuitive and oracle cards. We'll have Rosemary Navarra. She'll be there with her psychic readings, her beautiful cards that she works with, the tarot cards. She has some deep information. Rosemary Navarra, she will be there. Also, you'll be there to meet the owner, Michelle Vidal, and she's going to teach psychic. She teaches a whole lot of stuff, but she's a psychic medium. She can give you information. She reads with a tarot card. She's clairvoyant, clairsentient. She's clear everything. You want to be there to meet us. We're going to be there this Sunday, the second Sunday of the month. This Sunday from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is free. We do our readings and healings 20 minutes at a time. When you come in, you'll find out what it costs. We want you to be there. We want you to connect with us. I can't wait to meet you. All right? I'll be there. Until next time, divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon. Ah, thank you, Amber. Amber will be there Sunday. Amber does Reiki, and she's a dynamite Reiki person, but she's a dynamite person in her own right. Wonderful person. See you soon, Amber, and everybody else. See you next week. That last Thursday, I won't be here. I'm going to be hanging out with some family members over in Arizona. That's where I'm planning to go anyway. But anyway, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for your time, for everybody listening in. Share this out later when you can, when it's already in the page. This is for Resident Essentials YouTube channel. Again, this is Clear Blue Radiance. My grace is your grace. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, podcast host and the founder of My Circle of Grace One. See you soon, everybody. Take care.